Let me put my headphones in. Oh, just trying to put my headphones in. Hi, 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 hi. Come on in. How's everyone doing? Um, okay, I'm trying to go live on, I don't know what's going on with Instagram. Good morning, Lily. Good morning, Brandon. Blessed Friday to you. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's been, I know, Mommy Nimi, like, I've not been live in a little while. I've just had so much going on, guys. Like, I've been so busy with personal and professional life. Like, it's been so busy. Um, you know, um, but I said, before my first meeting today that I must come live today and say hi to everyone and, see everyone. Um, but let me quickly introduce. Well, good morning, Grace from Rhode Island. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook. Um, Let me see some of these comments. What if you? Okay, so let me introduce myself real quick. I already see you guys jump right into the questions. So my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer. I represent clients all over the U.S. Internationally. If you're trying to immigrate to the United States through family or humanitarian base, fiance visa, all the works. Our phone number here is 407-995-6567. You can also send a text on WhatsApp, 404-333-8751. Your location is not a problem. Even though our main office is in Atlanta and Orlando, we represent clients all over the US. Somebody asked, Sexy Chen says, good morning. What if you received an RFE and it didn't specify what they need you to send? That's weird. Like, so basically, whatever the RFE wrote there is what you should send. I mean, I don't know what your RFE looks like, so it's hard for me to really say or answer that question because I need to see it. But typically, the RFE will tell you what they need from you in order for them to make a decision. So your RFE should say that. I don't know if this is a hypothetical or you've actually gotten an RFE that didn't say anything. So that's what it is. Okay. No says, good morning from Las Vegas. Oh my goodness. Isn't it like 7 o'clock in Las Vegas? That's really early. Sweet Tea says, can I get my working paper on a fiance visa? Well, you want to file, I'm assuming that you're here on your K1 fiance visa. If you're here there, I recommend just filing for your adjustment of status and your work permit. That way you will get your work permit while your adjustment of status is going on. Remember, you and your spouse that applied for your fiance is the one that can petition for you, and you need to get married within the 90 days and submit it then so you don't have to start your application all over again. Okay? Let's see what other questions I have. Um, Katie says, good morning. What are some questions they ask at a vow-based green card interview? Basically, look through your entire I-485. They can ask you any question on your I-485. So that's the questions that they ask you. What you completed in the form, whether you're currently married, whether you're divorced, where do you live, who do you live with, how many children do you have, have you ever been arrested, how did you enter the country, etc. Those are the kinds of questions that they generally will ask in your VAWA interview. But basically, most questions would be from what is in your I-485 because they're trying to make sure that you're admissible to the United States as a green card holder. And then Christofina on YouTube says, so when can I file for my kids? When the I-360 is approved or I-360? So I'm not really sure what the question is. So the answer to this depends on your children's age. So this person is basically asking about VAWA applications. When can you include your children? So when you file for a VAWA application, and I'm only going to speak about the I-360. Well, I guess I could talk about the I-360 adjustment of status and if your child is outside the United States. So there are a few ways to include your children. So I am going to be focused on children that are under 21 because those are the only kids that you can include as derivatives in your VAWA application. So if you file for VAWA, automatically in your I-360, any children that are yours would be included as derivatives in the I-360. So what that means is if you get a prima facie determination letter, your children should be included in that prima facie determination letter. If there's an error from USCIS where they don't include your children, then they need to amend your prima facie and include the children. Same goes for your I-360 VAWA approval. Again, keep in mind, I'm only speaking about the I-360. I haven't gotten to the green card portion. The I-360 approval, those same children under 21 should be included. Whether they live with you, whether they're in a different country, all of them under 21 should be included as long as you put their names in the application when you did the 360. Okay? If, let's say, you're listening to this live for the first time and you made that goof and you did not include your children, you need to amend your application and include your children. And typically they will allow you to amend the application. Okay? Now, if your children are in the United States under 21, again, that's what we're focused on. At the time you submit your VAWA application, you can also submit an adjustment of status application for your children at the same time as yours as derivatives, okay? If your children are outside of the United States, you're going to have two options. You can either submit an I-824 for, an additional fee at the time you're submitting your I-360. What this form does is that it allows USCIS to automatically transfer the approval when they eventually approve the VAWA to the National Visa Center, and then you can start the process for your children there. So like if you're in America, you'll continue with the adjustment of status portion, which is doing your stuff here, and then your children will continue with the consular process, which is doing your stuff out there. I hope this is not going way over you guys' head. I don't know if this is too complicated what I'm getting into. The other option is when you get your approval of your actual VAWA, then you can do the I-824 at that time, where you ask them to send it to the National Visa Center so you can fill out the application and process your children's. So Christofina, I hope that answered your question. Kiara on Facebook said, with VAWA loan based off of a green card holder, are visas current at this time? So visas as of June, I can't tell you. The reason why I can't tell you is because I checked this yesterday. So even though as of May, they were no longer current, USCIS was still allowing us to use a current date. Typically they publish, so outside of the visa bulletin, they would usually publish and say, can we still use this date? And they allowed us to still use a current date. As of May, it's published. As of June, as of yesterday, because I had to check this for a consultation, it's not. So I cannot tell you the answer, okay? Cod1 on YouTube says, hi, my I-130 is approved. So when I got an interview, so when I get an interview for the I-485, do I have to go with my spouse, or is it not obligated to go with her for marriage base? You do have to go with your spouse for the I-485. And it's possible that if your I-130 was approved without you getting it approved at the interview, you have a very strong chance that you're not going to be called for an interview. You're just going to get, if you didn't send your medical, a request for evidence for your medical, and they're probably going to bypass you and just send you the green card. Someone on Instagram says, good morning, how long for an I-765 approval? I'm assuming maybe you're asking based on marriage. I don't know, but typically it takes anywhere from 4 to 9 months. You could fall anywhere within that window. Classy Chick says, how often can I visit the U.S. on a visiting visa? As often as you want, or as often as you can stomach. If USCIS or Customs and Borders stop you every time, asking why are you coming back here again so often. So there's no rule that says how long, but sometimes, if you keep coming and coming and coming and coming, let's say maybe you have a 10-year visa and you're here like 3 or 4 times a year, they could call you for secondary. It doesn't mean that they're not going to let you in, but they could call you for secondary to ask you, well, why are you coming here all the time? Yes, Finesse says, if you file a restraining order on your partner that doesn't have a status here in the U.S., can they get deported? I mean, it depends. It depends on, if the police is involved and they get arrested. At any point when an immigrant gets arrested, they can be sent to an ICE detention center. If you married your husband only 3 months after you arrived here, will your VAWA be denied, even though your first I-485 was denied? I need more. To be able to answer you, I need more. And what I need specifically is, why was your I-485 denied? VAWA decisions or marriage-based decisions are not based on the fact that you got married 3 months ago. It's because you didn't establish that you're eligible for the green card. So we would want to know why your 485 was denied in the first place, and we'll need to screen to see if you actually qualified for VAWA. Pink Boss, good morning from North Carolina. How long does a K-1 visa take? It depends, for the part that you do in the US, the form that you fill out in the US, it could take anywhere from like 7 to 12 months. I would say on average, that's what we see for that portion. And then once you fill out the information you need at the visa center, depending on the country the person is from, you might be able to get an interview almost immediately. There's certain countries that, there's not a long line for interviews. And then there are other countries where getting an interview is really tough. So all of that depends. But, one of the things I used to say was, before the pandemic, obviously K-1 visa used to be very, very quick. Now it's not that quick, depending on the country. Okay. If you got your travel permit and the work permit as a combination for almost 3 years and still haven't gotten a green card, what should you do? Well, I don't know what type of case you're filing and why you've not gotten a green card. So that will need to be answered first. Someone is asking, why is it taking so long in Jamaica? Girl, I don't know. I wish I did, because it's annoying to me as well. Good morning. Can I file for my citizenship if I'm waiting on an I-751 interview? When people ask me this question about whether or not they can file citizenship application with their I-751 interview, for me, I never want to answer until I know your case personally. So like, I would literally need to consult with you to determine whether you should or not. The reason why is because it depends on how strong your I-751 case is. Are you filing for removal of conditions based on marriage? Are you going to be required to need a waiver based on divorce or based on extreme cruelty or hardship or death? Because depending on where you fall there, that's what's going to determine your eligibility at the time you file your naturalization. Because you can file your naturalization and then you can come to the interview. Typically, when you file naturalization, both of you will do both interviews, and you might be eligible for your 751 and get your green card, but you might not be eligible for naturalization at that time, depending on what grounds your green card is granted on. And so without knowing more, it's really hard to answer. But to answer a hypothetical, is it possible to file your green card application, no, your green card, your naturalization application at the same time as while your I-751 is pending? Yes, but do I recommend it? I cannot answer without knowing your personal case. Okay. Oh my gosh, guys, there's so many questions here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to even half of this. Can a green card holder, soon to be a citizen, file for parents? That's a really good question, but the answer is no. As a green card holder, you cannot file for your parents until you become a citizen. So since they're on their way to become citizens, you have to wait till they become citizens and then they can file. Noma says, good morning. I just want to pass my gratitude and I pray God blesses you. You're doing such an amazing job. Super grateful for you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And, I pray God blesses you as well. Oye Wallace says, I submitted my VAWA application since July 2022. Until now, I have not received anything from USCIS, although they acknowledged my application through receipt. Hope it's not taken too long. Wally, when you say you've not received anything other than your receipt notice, have you gotten a prima facie determination letter? Like you've not even gotten that as well? If you've not gotten that, and it's been about almost 12 months, we're in June, so about 11 months, that's something that I would definitely want you to inquire with USCIS, at least to get that. Once you get that, and I don't know if you filed a work permit and a travel permit with an adjustment of status with it. Those are the things that should come within this window. But this would be a good time to possibly do an inquiry to find out where everything is. Can I file for VAWA while still married, looking to divorce? And if you divorce after, does it affect you? Thank you. This is a really good question. And again, the question is, can I file for VAWA while I'm still married, planning to divorce? And if I get divorced, is this going to affect me for my VAWA case? So while you're still married, you can certainly file for VAWA. You can certainly get divorced. And your divorce is not going to affect you as long as you can establish that you meet the requirements for VAWA. Now, if you divorce before you file for VAWA, you want to make sure that you file for VAWA within 2 years of the divorce anniversary. If you file after 2 years, you will no longer be eligible for it. Okay. Okay. When you're married to a U.S. citizen, how long can you file for your citizenship if you're still in your marriage 4 years? So typically, I'm assuming that you have a green card. I'm going to assume you have a green card, Natoya. If you have a green card and you're married to a U.S. citizen and you've been married for 4 years, then you're eligible to file for citizenship. Well, as long as you meet the other requirements for naturalization, like any criminal records, taxes, travel, and all that stuff. But the earliest that you can file if you're married and still married and you've got a 10-year green card is 2 years and 9 months, basically 90 days before your third anniversary. But you must show that it's not just that you're married, but that you're living in marital union. In order for you to file within the 3 years, you have to show that you're living in marital union at the time you file. Okay. Hello, I want to know if you file for green card based on marriage, the work permit will come with your travel permit, or you have to file it separate. So honestly, there's no rhyme or reason. Any of it can happen. Typically when we file work permits, as long as you're eligible for a travel permit, we'll file one as well for you. Sometimes the approval will come as a combination card with a work permit and travel permit. Sometimes, they started doing this more from last year where they will send you the work permit just so that they can issue that quickly. And then your travel permit can come a few months later because they figure people need to work. So they will get that for them quicker. Oh my gosh, my hair is driving me crazy. All right, let me see what other questions here that I haven't answered. Thompson on Facebook says, "Good morning. If you file for VAWA and it's been more than 3 years and you don't hear anything, is that a problem to be worried about?" I mean, it's definitely a long time, but it could mean that you possibly are either in queue and they're still reviewing, or that they might be sending you a request for additional evidence, or they might be sending you a notice of intent to deny, or nothing. But you can certainly put in an inquiry, like do an inquiry just to find out, well, what's taken so long, and at least let them reply you. And then if you have a previous marriage, sometimes we tend to see cases that have previous marriages where the divorces happen outside of the US, and they filed VAWA. We tend to see those cases take a little bit longer, just because you're doing some investigation on those divorces and authenticating them, and all that stuff. So I don't know where you fall in that, but that could happen. But you can certainly do an inquiry. You don't have anything to lose. All right, guys, I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. I will definitely be here next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So put that in your calendar. I'm glad to be back in my normal routine. Well, I'm still not in my normal routine. It's summer. So things are a little different, with my children as well. And my schedule's changed a little bit. But I'll see you guys. I hope you all have a great weekend and talk to you later. Bye.